Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss file handling in Python. We already have discussed the first part, the introduction. Now today we will discuss some advanced concept about reading and writing the contents to the file. So let's begin here. The first, I'll explain to you the file access modes. What are the different file access modes here? First, it must be clear to you that what is the meaning of file access mode. It means when you are opening the file, what you want to do with with that particular file. It means for what purpose you are going to open this particular file, either to read the contents or to write the contents into the file. So before opening the file, it must be clear to you that for what purpose you are opening the file, either to read the content from the file or to write the content to the file. So I think it should be clear. Now we will discuss one by one. Already in the first video, we have discussed about this read mode. It means when you use the function open function, and suppose you are opening the file and the file name is student.txt, and then you are opening this file for the reading purpose. So here you are indicating that you are going to open that file only for reading purpose. That's why it will be read only. It means at that time it is not allowed to you to write the contents into the file. The another mode is this write only mode. It means here you are indicating that you are just opening the file to write the contents into that file. Now here what happens in first case, when you are opening the file in read only mode, in that case the file must exist. It means that the file which you want to open must be created before that or before opening. So if you are going to open the file in reading mode, you must ensure that the file is available there. Otherwise, the Python will give you the error that file does not exist, or some errors will be shown to you. Now, but in the next option, write only option, if file does not exist, it will be created. When you open the file, suppose you have written f out equal to this one open, and suppose once again you are going to open the student.txt, and in writing mode you are going to open it. So in this time, if this file is existing, so the previous contents will be overlapped and the new contents will take the place of the previous contents. And if it does not exist, the file will be created. So very simple concept. When you are opening the file in writing mode, if the file does not exist, file will be created, and if the file exists, the previous data will be overlapped by the new data. I hope it should be clear. The next is A. It's for append and write only. It means in this time you can write the contents. The difference is, what is the difference between W and A? The main difference is it's to append the content. It means if you have a file and if some contents are already there, if you are opening the file through A mode, through append mode, so the previous contents will retain there and the new contents also will be added into your file, which is not the case in W or in writing mode when you are writing W. So it should be clear. Now the next is R plus, read and write. Now sometime it may be your requirement that you want to open the file for both reading and writing. What may be the situation? Suppose you are reading the contents, you are reading any record. Suppose here is name is Rama. You are searching for this content and you want to change it to Raman. So in this case, first you have to read this content, find that either you are at the right place, and then you want to replace this with Raman. It means first you have to read the file and then you have to write the content into the same file. I hope it should be clear. When you want to open the file in both reading and writing for the both reading and writing operation, you have to use R plus. It means read and write mode. The next is W plus, again read and write mode. But if you will see the difference in R plus and W plus, here you see the file must exist, otherwise it will give you error message. When you are opening with R plus, the file must exist. The file should be there. But when you are opening in W plus mode, if file is not there, it will be created. If file is not there, it will be created. And if file is there, the data will be overlapped. This is similar to this W plus is similar to W, but only the difference is it's working for both reading and write operation, while this W is only for reading operation. This W is only for writing operation, and this W plus is for both reading and writing mode. I hope it should be clear. Now A plus, read and write, both operation will be done, but A, as you know, this is for the append. The previous contents will be retained there and by adding the new contents. So in A, the file will be open in reading and writing mode, and if file exists there, the new contents will be added by retaining the previous contents, and if file is not there, file will be created. So I hope these modes should be clear. Once again, the R is only for reading purpose, but the main point you should keep in your mind, the file must exist. W is for writing purpose. Here, if file exists, the new contents will overlap the previous contents. If file does not exist, the file will be created. Next, A for append. If the file does not exist, it will be created, and if it exists, the new data will be added to the file. The R plus, read and write, both when we want to open the file in reading and writing mode, then we have to write R plus, but here the condition is file must exist. Otherwise, if file is not, a file does not exist, it will give you the error message. Now W plus, once again, for reading and writing, both in reading and writing mode you are going to open the file, but when W plus is there, if file is not there, file will be created, and if file is already existing, the new data will overlap the previous data. If A plus is there, file is opening in both reading and writing mode, and if file is not there, file will be created, and if file is there, so the previous data will be retained by adding the new data. So I hope all the modes must be clear. If not, you see 2 or 3 times this video, you can understand the concept. In your board examination, you may be asked, out of these operations, any particular. So now come to the next concept. Functions to read the contents from the file and writing the contents to the file. Or here just function to read the content from the file. It's not there, you just read it. Function to read the content from the file. Now the first option is read operation. This read operation, this read function reads the first n number of bytes from your file, or it can read the complete file, the contents of your file. Suppose it's your file, you have written here, hello, how are you, and some other contents here. Suppose these are the contents of your file. Now you want to read these contents and to print them into your screen. So what we have to do, first we have to open the file. First you have to open the file in reading mode, and then you have to write this read operation. How you will open? Once again, this will be the file handler or file object or a stream, which will link your file to current program, and this str equal to fin dot read. This function will read the contents from this file and will store these contents into the variable str, and then it will print it. Once again, I'll explain to you. Suppose you have a file. In your file, you have written some contents. This file is, some contents are written there. Now when you will write, first you have to open this file. The name of this file is student.txt. Now you are going to open this file to read the contents of this file. So you have to link first this file. You have to open this file. You have opened, and the file handler or the link will be provided through this object now, fin, file input, simply you can say. And then we will use this function fin.read. This function will read the contents from the file and will store these contents into the variable str. And finally you will print this str. So the contents, now the contents of the file will be printed on your output screen of your system. I hope it should be clear. Now the next concept in the same function, if you are using fin dot read, and here if you are indicating the number of bytes, this number of characters, suppose 30. So if your file, if the contents of your files are, suppose as I have written, hello, how are you, and some other contents are there, so it will read only first 30 characters. It will not read the whole file or the contents of whole file. So whatever the first 30 characters are there, those 30 characters will be stored into the variable str, and then these 30 characters only will be printed. So I hope it should be clear that when you are writing a read function only without indicating any limit, it will read the complete file, the complete detail of your file, and when you are indicating the number of bytes or the number of characters, so it will read only that much, and then you print it. I hope it should be very clear to you. Now come to the next concept, read line. The next function is read line. As name suggests, read line. If you want to read only one line, again you have a file here, you have written some contents here, but now you have suppose 100 or 200 lines, but you want to read only the first line. In that case, this read line function is there, that which will read the line or complete one line from your file. How we will write it? Very simple. First you have to open, here also you have to write the same. First you have to open the file in reading mode, then you have to write str equal to this object dot read line. Now when you will write this fin dot read line, then it will read one complete line from here and will store into the variable str, and then finally you write the print statement. This print statement will print that complete line. So once again you see that when you are using fin dot read line, this function will read a complete one line from your file, and suppose here is your file, the file name, as you know, this we have given student.txt, and this line will be read from there and will be stored into the variable str, and then you can write this same you have to write here as I have written, just in place of read you have to replace it by read line, and then you have to print the statement or the print the particular variable. So it will print that particular line from your file. So I hope it should be clear. And the next is read lines. Now this read lines will read the entire file and will return. Here you must keep this a very important concept in your mind, that it will read the entire file and will return it in the form of list. What it will do, this read lines actually this read lines function will read the entire contents of the file and will store into this variable, but it will form a list or in the form of list and will print it simply. So I hope it should be clear. Once again, you see this read function will read the whole will read the entire contents, and if you have given the limit, it will read only that much. If you want to read a complete one line, then you can use read line function. If you want to read entire file line by line but in the form of list, so you use read lines function. Here it is as read lines, and the whole data or the whole contents or the entire file will be stored into this variable str, and it will print when you will use a print statement. Now I'll show you some example. The first, if you want to write first some contents to the file, here what we will do, first we will write some contents to the file and then we will read that file. So first you open one file. Suppose I have taken one file, song.txt. We are going to open this file. Then here I have given n equal to input, enter number of lines to be entered, that how many lines you want to enter in this particular file. Suppose this is a file and you want to enter here 5 lines. So you give the value of n, and if you want to input 5, you give here 6 because we are starting it from 1. So it will ask you to input any string, means any line, and it will store that line into the variable str, and then it will write it fout.write str. Then these lines will be written into this file by this write function. Now what we have done here, we have used a for loop. Then this statement will be executed n time. This particular statement will be executed n time. Str equal to input, enter any string. The string will be, when you will give the string, it will be stored in str, and this fout.write function, the contents will be written into the file. First, when the loop will execute first time, one line will be written here. When the next time, the second line, again next time third line, fourth line, and fifth line, or as per your requirement, that how many lines you want to enter in that particular file, you can give. So this is here the simple program how you can write the contents to the file line by line into the file, and finally you have to close the file. Whenever you are opening any file, you must close it, otherwise your data may be lost. The next is this again. Now we want to read the contents of the file. Just now